This is going to be the ultimate guide to keeping up with the Joneses. So I'm going to tell you where your wealth stacks up against other people the same age as you. Now, on screen, we've got the average financial wealth by age. So it's taking your savings and your current account and minusing off any short-term debt you've got. So things like credit cards and loans. So it's a very simple number to start with. We can all work that out. When you calculate the average across the board, the people who are incredibly wealthy, that skews the average. So if we took the entire UK population and lined them up in terms of their net financial wealth from lowest to highest, and we took the person bang in the middle, they would be classed as the median. And we found out how much money they had in their current account savings minus their short-term debt. Now, that is probably more useful figure to look at because that is the sort of people that we're going to know. Now, you can see for a household, that number is much lower. It's £10,400 across the board. Now, you can look at the wealth of the UK and see how skewed it is by looking at the decile breakdown. So that means breaking down into 10% chunks. I'm not going to go through each decile. If you're looking for the midpoint of the population, then broadly speaking, you would have about £40,000 in physical possessions, somewhere between £90,000 and £150,000 in equity in property, somewhere around about £100,000 in your pension. And in terms of investments, you're looking at somewhere in the region of £20,000 to £25,000, which would bring your total wealth somewhere in the region of about £300,000 when you add up all of those categories. So by looking at that decile breakdown, it really does emphasize how wealth in the UK is massively skewed to the top end of people, to the most wealthiest people. They hold most of the wealth in the UK, be it property or investments. Now, looking at median household wealth by age is probably a little bit more representative of what we actually see day to day. So by doing that, 60 to 24-year-olds, the property wealth is zero. That is representative, in my view, much more of what the wider UK population sees. If we move on to 25 to 34-year-olds, their total wealth jumps to £110,000. And so by the time you get to age 55, you're in the bracket 55 to 64, you have almost £500,000 of total wealth. And most of that wealth is made up of your private pension and your property.